who make it there and can make it back.
Salutations and shit, folks. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite travel podcast, Travel and Shit, where your host, D. Carey, have an experiential conversation about the nuanced ways that travel intersects with regular life. I am very excited about this episode, so we dive in the fuck right in to my handsome guest. Please introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, everyone. I am Rodney Jon. I am a celebrity makeup artist. I'm a hat designer. I am a beauty expert, a motivational speaker. I just love to inspire and motivate people just to live their true purpose and their authentic self. And I just love what I do. I just love making people. I love enhancing a person's natural beauty.
That is one of my favorite things to hear, is that people love what they do. I too am trying to love what I do. This has been such, I guess you can say, an episode in the making, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we met years ago, and this is back, baby D, when travel and shit was but a dream, because I hadn't even started traveling. This was one of my first creative iterations. If you don't know, I had a blog called The Vixen Experience. And it was a good old time. It was a good, young, fun time. And it brought me into a lot of rooms. I had a good fucking time. And shout out to the homie Ken Doll. I hope you're doing well, baby. I did a bunch of his videos. And that is where I met Rodney Jon. Rodney, I want to say, was the first professional to ever beat my face. Like, I'd never had anybody other than like my mom or my aunts or like my friends play in my face. So it was new to me to have like, and I don't know if I probably asked you, like, do people stare at you when you do their makeup? Like,
Right.
Do they just, like, when you're doing it's weird to me to have not just somebody in your face, but then I'm thinking to myself, am I staring at this person? Should I look away? Like, it was such a joy to have you do my face. You put me at ease, because it was also the first time I'd ever had you go to Sears and do your little family portraits, right? That don't count. It was the first time I'd actually had somebody take my photo, like a professional take my photo. And shout out to friends that just love on you. Ken was like, yo, pull up. Don't worry about it, baby. We're going to get the face done, and we're going to do some really great photos for the blog. And lo and behold, memories, connections, and just personal. It was one of those moments where it was like, oh shit, look at me being cute on camera. Maybe I can do this. So thank you for being part of that little origin story of mine. I don't know if I ever expressed that gratitude to you, that you did help with that, because I was nervous. I play like it's all fun and games, but and I don't want to say I guess I'm an introvert. I guess I'm an ambivert. I am completely capable of holding a conversation. I can be out and about because I can perform. I'm a performer, but inside I'd be scared as fuck. And I'm always, is this okay? Is that right? Am I doing this right? How do I look? Is they judging me? And I didn't get that from you. And then the same translated to, I don't know how to pronounce this man's name, Michael, wonderful director and a shooter. Like, just the camp, y'all did such an incredible job. And it was one of those kind of not resounding, but reaffirming moments that was just like, no, the energy matters. The people that you have around you matters. And I thank you for that. So public thank you for such an incredible experience that was very impactful. So
thank you.
Y'all, that's my guest that we have here today.
That is amazing. So I just wanted to say, it's really interesting that I had no idea that I was the first person who did your makeup. I do remember you vaguely being like a little timid, very like shy in a chair. But you have to understand too, that was the beginning stages of my career. So even though I came in as a professional and I came in like I had all my stuff together, I was still learning and growing at the same time. So for you to tell me that I was able to give you that experience, and I was able to enhance your natural beauty and make you feel comfortable, because that's what this industry is all about. The beauty industry is about making a person comfortable and understanding that it's a partnership. I need to make sure that you look and feel your absolute best. And it's not for me to transform you into something that you're not. is for me to enhance your natural beauty, to make you look in the mirror and still see an enhanced version of yourself, but still see you.
Yes.
So that's my artistry is all about a timeless application and a good time.
Yep. And that's what I got. That's what was had. So this conversation I wanted to, of course, do the travel talk, right? How you've traveled as a professional, where you started, like, where are you from? Where are you from New York? Do you live in New York? Like, what is going on with your life and how has that travel looked with your career? But I also want to have a bit of an entrepreneurial conversation because I have yet to do that with travel and shit, because I am of the assumption that if y'all fuck with the show, that your brain may not work exactly like mine, because that's what makes it special, but similarly. So you guys can see the parallels in personal development, business development, brand development, entrepreneurial development, and travel. The same way you plan for travel, the same way you plan for your flights, you plan for your accommodations and the things that you're going to do. A lot of this presentation to you guys, this podcast, being a professional makeup artist, being a musician, a dancer, a lot of that requires planning. We don't just show up with nothing, prepared. We plan for these things. And I definitely wanted to see if we could express that to you guys as entrepreneurs, as creatives. If you are creative, tune in, because hopefully you can grow and transform with us through this as we recount these experiences. But also, if you aren't a creative, a little insight into how, as a traveler or as someone who wants to travel, the two worlds intersect. So that's what we're here for today. Rodney, how did you start? Where was Rodney's beginning with makeup?
Wow. So before we even get into how I got into the beauty industry, I used to be an auto mechanic.
What?
A lot of people don't know that. I did
Sure
4
did.
years in I did 4 years in high school because I was at a trade school at Dobbins in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And I did it for like maybe 6 months to a year when I got out. But I was always into fashion. So in my mind, I was like, I don't know if I really want to work underneath a car and get dirty for the rest of my life. But when I was doing it, I did balanced tires. I did brakes, front brakes, back brakes, balanced tires. I took an engine apart, put it back together. I was still using my hands, so I knew that I was gifted with my hands at the end of the day.
Right.
But I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. I wanted to be a fashion stylist. So when I was taking up fashion, I first started off fashion design at the Art Institute of Philadelphia. Okay. And I hated pattern making. So in the middle of my semester, I switched to marketing.
Okay.
And I learned the fundamentals of fashion and the time periods. And I was styling people at a very young age. And, I was working at J. Crew, and one of my clients who I was personal shopping for, she came in the store and she was just like, I think this particular day, I put a whole outfit together for her son's prom or his birthday or something. And she was just watching how the presentation was and how detail oriented I was and the energy and everything that was happening. And she was just like, after we got done, she said, oh my goodness. She was like, you are absolutely amazing at what you do. I'm so grateful to have you in my life. I'm so grateful that, you're very detail oriented. And she was like, I would love for you to work for me. And I'm like, where do you work? And she's like, I work at Aveda. Okay. Mind you, Aveda was literally across from where I worked. J. Crew on this side, Aveda right here. You know how many times I walk past this store to go to the food court and never paid the store no attention? Because I wasn't into the beauty world. I didn't know anything about products and candles and all of that stuff she was trying to sell me on. I was just like, that's not for me. But she said to me, let me tell you something. She said, I need a guy in my store. I feel like you're the perfect fit. And I said to myself, she said, what are you making at J. Crew?
Come on, sis.
Mind you, I'm a college student. So I need money.
Right. So $5 more than
I'm like, what we talking? What we doing? You're right. And she offered me, she said, if you leave J. Crew and come work for me as a part-timer, I will give you $13 an hour.
Ooh. In college, that's good ass money.
I said, now what is this place called again?
Right.
And
what day I start?
She said, listen, shampoos, conditioners, candles, organic tea, makeup, and all that stuff. She said, I will teach you everything. She said, you have nothing to worry about. She said, I know you have what it takes. And I'm just grateful at this point in my career that I did not allow what other people, saw for me, my family saw for me. Because in my mind, being an auto mechanic is the way to go. My father and my brothers and my sisters, they looking at me like, what are you doing? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I'm so glad that I was able to see what she saw, even though I didn't see it in the beginning. Once I got in the company and I started learning the company and the mission and the products, and I was really, really, really good at every domain except for makeup. And I'm gonna make a long story short. She basically said, if you, as she said, you have very amazing leadership qualities about yourself, but in order for me to promote you to the next level, to a full-time key holder, you have to get your makeup sales up. So what we're going to do is we're going to succession plan you. And when there's nobody in the store, we're going to have you work on all the different employees that work in the store. And we're going to show you how to do the eyeliner, the mascara, how to match foundation, how to recommend skincare, how to create a regimen specific for, tailored for each person that come in the store. And I was like, wait a minute. As much as I want to be a leader, I don't know if I can do that.
Okay.
And they literally walked me through every process. And after 3 months of training, she said to me, the next person that comes into the store, I don't care who it is, you have to sit them down, do a consultation, put skincare and makeup on them, and you need to sell them all the products. To make a long story short, $700 later,
Okay.
this white woman walked in, sat her down. She was a mature woman too. And I was freaking out like, oh my goodness, I'm not gonna be able to do this. $700 later, she walked out with everything. And that's when I knew that I had what it took to actually do it. And after all that, then it became the passion. And I became a manager for Aveda for 8 years. Wow. I worked in the Short Hill store, ran that store. I went to Third Avenue in New York, ran that store. So as far as traveling is concerned, sometimes even in your career, you have to go where your career takes you. So I went from Philadelphia to New York, did that for 10 years, worked in New York in the business. That's when I met you, and did a lot of video shoots, and I did a lot of fashion weeks. I did a lot of editorials, and I built my portfolio. Once I did that, I wanted to further my career, and I wanted to work more with celebrities and red carpet events. And I knew that LA was the way to go because all the happening things was happening in LA, and then some awards was happening in Vegas. And I had an opportunity that allowed me to go from New York to LA to work on a TV show for 3 months on Lifetime. So again, I packed up my things. It was like, you have two options. You need to either pay your rent to your roommate so he can have a place to stay, or take your rent money, because at that point I wasn't really making no money. I was on a lot of free jobs, trying to make things work in my career. And it was either do that or pay to get to this job opportunity. And I took that money and I flew to LA, and I stayed there for 9 years. So I did all the things that I was able to accomplish. I worked in all the red carpet events, built my celebrity clientele. I worked on a lot of different shows. And then boom, I met Sherri Shepard, worked with her for a couple years, like maybe 5 years in LA. And then when she got her daytime show, she called me one time and asked me, when I was on a McDonald's shoot, as a key makeup artist for a McDonald's commercial, and asked me when I moved back to New York to be her makeup artist. So here I am, back in New York, still living my dream. And I love it every single day. I love what I do.
Y'all, we talking to Sherri Shepard's makeup artist.
I mean,
here.
It is what it is. I mean,
it is what it is.
Don't get it twisted.
Outta here.
I work with Angela Bassett. I work with Vanessa Simmons. Don't make me start name dropping. I mean,
go off.
Listen.
We stand Angela Bassett in this in this home. You hear me? Stand her down. And she ain't need to fix that face is flawless. She ain't need to fix shit. Okay?
Nothing.
Congrats, Jamie. But
just saying.
That's no me. That's no me, right? I wasn't there. They don't care my opinion. So with all those travels, what is it like? Because it sounds like you walked away from everything that you had established. Like you had set so much up, and to be able to walk away from that, because I'm in my head, I'm just like, I don't know if I'm that bold. That is such a beautiful quality to have. And I don't think a lot of people pick up on that, where
Mhm.
it's one thing to like, because we move for school, right? You change cities in a state for work, you may transfer location, whatever. But to move your entire life, not on a whim, because that I don't want to reduce it to a whim, because you understand that, right? But being
Mhm.
able to listen to that and relocate, I admire that quality. I don't know. And I've never had that opportunity to cross the bridge to know per se, but I don't know if I could do that. Where did you feel like you felt most at ease doing your work? Did that feel different on either coast? Like, was LA easier to navigate, or was New York, Philly? Like, where did you feel most, I guess, at ease? And what was it like having to leave that if it wasn't New York?
Okay. So let me tell you this. When you are an entrepreneur or when you are a creative, you have to have faith
Hmm.
in yourself and in God or higher power or whatever it is that you believe in, because that is the thing that will consistently show you your path and show you that you're on the right track. And you have to understand that there's different seasons and different levels to you growing and evolving and going to that next level. You know, so I think because of my faith and because I knew, even though I couldn't see my way out of certain situations, and I had to go through a lot of struggles, and I had to go through a lot of times where I didn't have money, and I had to go through times where I had to sleep on the A train in New York for 2 days. I was couch surfing on my friends' couches and stuff like that. So, but one thing I will say is that every time that I felt at my lowest, an opportunity presented itself in my career that showed me that this is my purpose. And I feel that once you find your purpose, you have to keep going and going and going, regardless of what it looked like, because it's all about not giving up. And I chose not to give up. I could have went back to corporate America. I could have went back to retail management, but I knew that my purpose was bigger than me. And to be honest, um, how I really, really knew that my purpose was bigger than me is when I was in New York at my lowest. And I had already did a billboard in Times Square with my client, and she literally right off the train, she called me and said, "I would love to bring you to West Africa, to Cape Verde, to be the key makeup artist for their Caribbean Fashion Week on 2 different islands." So I was there for 3 weeks. When I tell you and I was off the train. I had dinner with the president, the prime minister, the minister of culture. I had a famous piano player serenade me, and I had somebody cooking and cleaning and making up my bed every day. I felt like a king from the train. And I just was like so grateful. And like the last week leading up to me coming back to the United States, God put in my spirit to get on my knees in gratitude and just pray. So I would get out my bed, get on my knees, and I would just pray. And I did not know why I was praying. I just knew that I heard the voice. And thank God I was obedient to the voice, because 3 days before it was time for, I don't know if you remember this, but 3 days before it was time for me to get back on my plane, we were driving through the mountains. And I always have to say, we were eating bananas and drinking waters. I don't really think we was drunk.
Right.
We were driving through the mountains, and the car I was in fell over a cliff and flipped 5 times into a ditch. And I wound up having surgery on my left hand. I fractured 2 bones. But my whole point is this: because of faith and relationship with the higher power, which is God for me, I was obedient. And I think because I was obedient, all three of us in that car survived the accident. And that was the pivotal moment in my life that I knew that it wasn't just about enhancing a person's beauty. It wasn't just about being a makeup artist. It wasn't just about any of that. It was more so about, how are you impacting these people's lives? How are you making a difference? How are you going to leave a legacy? because you're here on earth for a reason. And if you're not in a space to teach the next generation of people, artists, whatever it is that's coming up under you, you're not living your true purpose. You're not, so that's where it all came from. It was just like, how can I start now building my brand with purpose? And that's where Made came from, my hats. And it stands for making attainable differences every day. That is something no matter what you're doing, whether you're in corporate America, whether you are trying to lose weight, whether it's you want to be a chef, it doesn't matter what it is. You have to make attainable differences every day to reach any one of your goals, because what you realize is that each goal you have when you're making attainable differences, it connects you to the next thing, and that connects you to the next thing. And before you know it, you're on the #1 daytime syndicated show working with Sherri. So I know, like, my purpose is bigger than me. It's not about me. It's about me creating a legacy and really inspiring other people to never give up and just keep doing what you're doing.
And you are doing a damn good job, because I'm already in my little emo bag. Just like you have a gift for motivation. Also, I'm sure someone has told you by now, but reaffirming, you got it.
Thank you.
So in terms of making attainable differences every day and the beautiful headgear, how did you decide to do hats? From makeup
Okay.
now to hats,
Okay.
please.
So let me tell you why. You asked all the right questions. I love it.
Thank
So
you.
because I was in fashion
Right. Yep.
first,
Okay.
right? As I was growing up, I was always in a hat, whether it was a baseball cap, fedora hat, um, Kango style hat, like any hat you could think of, I've worn it in some kind of way, because I just feel that hats complete your look,
Mhm.
right?
I stay in a dad
And,
hat.
and a dad hat, like all like
Love
the
them.
porcupine hat, like I wore them all. And my whole thing was this: I was trying to figure out, with purpose, how could I bridge the gap
Mm.
with my fashion and my makeup, and it makes sense. I'm always in a hat. I got so tired of sending people that stop me on the street to somebody else's website. When I have a degree in marketing, I have managerial skills.
Mhm.
I've run $1 million company, stores. So it's like, I know what it takes. And then once social media would start popping, I was just like, I'm leaving all of this corporate stuff and I'm going to run my own brand and run my own business, because I know what to do. I've done it. I've beat last year numbers. I've met the goal. I've hit the extended goal. Like, I know what it takes. Is it hard to do all on your own in the beginning when you don't have the finances to back it up, or get finances that have the proper help? Of
Yeah.
course, you're going to be frustrated and you're going to struggle, and you might not be as successful because you don't have the backing. But when you know and you grind, you get connected with the right people, the right team will come.
Mhm.
Now I'm in a place where, the whole point was I wanted to make sure that I sent people to my own website so that I could maximize my full potential
Mm.
when it comes to makeup and
Yep.
fashion. And I'm
Yep.
telling you, I make it a part of everything that I do. Like, now I'm going to always be in a hat, because when I go places, I I always get stopped by somebody, even if it's one person.
Yep.
And it's
All it
never really one.
takes.
It's never really one. I am a walking billboard.
Mhm.
And I'm not even doing it just for the sale. I'm only just being me.
Right.
And I'm incorporating into my fashion moments,
Mhm.
and people love it.
Why not be
So
your
go to the
fashion?
website. So go to the site and buy it.
That's it.
Period.
So you mentioned, and this is like the entrepreneur talk, and not asking for a friend, asking for me. So before you had the backing, before you found your team, what was your process for, okay, it is me, I am overwhelmed, I need help? because for me, I can only speak from my experience. I get overwhelmed with so much fucking information. So I know you had to, I assume, find a distributor. You had to find some place for the hats to be made. Did you have to did you go visit where the hats were made by any chance? Or did you?
Literally everything I've done when I first started my hats was in LA.
Okay.
I was hand drawing everything. So I did my research. First of all, before it even started, me and one of my best friends, B. Slade, was sitting in his house, and we were just having a conversation about my life and his life and things that I wanted to do, and the fact that he really believed in me as a brand and me as a person and me as a friend. And he was just like, I'm like, but I don't have the money to do this. Like, I'm still trying to pay these bills. I want to create a hat. My friend Kim Epps, we had conversations about me. She was like, you're the hat man. You need to do it. And I'm like, I know, but like, how do you just do it without the money? And they're like, you don't have to start big. Start small. Build the momentum up around it. Get the notoriety. Put it on the right people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I started doing. I started gifting people, like celebrities that I would do makeup.
Right, makes sense.
It would be a gift. Pepper from Salt and Pepper. Gift to her one. Recorded the organic moment on camera. That's promo.
Yeah.
Whether they post it or not.
Yeah.
I always get these two mixed up. Is it Wendy Raquel? I think it's Wendy Raquel Roberts.
Robinson.
Robinson. Yeah.
Tasha Mack.
Yes. Gave her one. How that happened was I was doing NAACP makeup, and she was one of the people I had to touch up. But because you do your research, or people wear and how they dress and this, that, and the third, I knew she liked hats. I knew she liked bright colors. I specifically wore that day my pink fedora hat.
Strategy,
because I knew she would like it,
and
I had one already packaged for her. But I never even said anything to her about it. I literally just walked in, did my thing, and she walked in and she was like, oh my God, that hat is everything. Wow. And I was just like, you really like it? She was like, yes, that's everything. Oh my God, where'd that come? I said, it's a part of my hat line. And I reached down and grabbed it and gave it to her. When I tell you, she spent around in her chair on camera and started carrying on about how, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sherri Shepard gave one to Niecy Nash when she was hosting the Wendy Williams show. So I'm just saying, like, even if you don't have the backing, if you're connected to the right people, you have the right heart, the right vision, it will all manifest itself. And then everything else will start falling in line. But you have to do your research. You have to put some money up. You have to, invest in your own self.
You got to spend money to make money.
Start small. And you don't need a whole lot of SKUs to be successful. People think you're supposed to just start out with 20 hats. No, I kept building. As I would make money, I would take the money and reinvest it back to create different styles, different colors. And then I added an artist who did the artwork, hand paint on my hats. And then I hired somebody else, and they started helping me with doing the Swarovski crystals. That's literally sitting there putting each crystal on strategically in place. So now I went from a $65 hat, $50 hat to now range from $50 to $500. But that happened for 6 years. I didn't have all that the first year. So it's just, you have to just know your lane, understand your product, understand who you are as a brand, and you have to be connected to the right people that really believe in what you have to offer. And that's all I really have for you when it comes to that.
So how did you end up finding the right team to help you? What did you tap in for that?
Let me tell you. So my page that I have down there, Made by Rodney Jon page, right? I got hacked. And I didn't have that account for like 5 years.
What?
And my manager, let me tell you, my manager now he was a friend of mine who I met at New York Fashion Week before I even moved to LA. And we connected, and I was just, like you said, I'm always motivating and inspiring people. And I was just having a real conversation with him because he was trying to figure out if he should move to New York. And he was a makeup artist, and I
Mhm.
think Arkansas, and this and the third. And I was just giving him the right advice, telling him what to do, and then he went and did what I told him to do. He was very successful, but he had pivoted into becoming like opening up, I think $1 million like stores and stuff in hotels, salons and hotels and stuff
Okay.
like that. So he became like very, very successful and created a makeup line and everything. Like he did everything that he wanted to do. And we lost contact. And once I got my page back, he found me
Okay.
again in the middle of the pandemic. And we literally would just Zoom once a week just to reconnect,
Checking in.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The checking in, of course, when you're checking in and you're reconnecting, you're talking about everything, life experiences, business stuff, this, that,
Yeah.
and the third, what he's done for people, how he made them millionaires, how he did this, what I want to do, da, 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 da. And it organically happened over 3 months. And the thing that I loved about him before he took me on as a client, even though we were friends, he needed to understand who I was as a brand. He wanted to understand how I was as a person. He wanted to understand how he could really market me. He wanted to understand if I was really serious. It took him 3 months to get to know who I was in that season, in that space of my life. And once he saw that I was serious, he's like, you know what? I want to help you. I see something in you. I know this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. And he started doing things to help me get to that next level, to help me see things different, to help me think different about how I spend my money. And it wasn't just about just the product, it was life.
Yeah.
In order for you to become a millionaire, you have to penny pinch. You can't give money to everybody that say they need help. You can't be in the clubs popping bottles. You can't be spending money $500-600 on a Gautier shirt or a $1,000 coat just because you have the money to spend it. That's not how you become a millionaire if you really want a business.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to play, I ain't the one.
Right.
If you want to go to that next level and you're going to listen to what I'm telling you and you're going to start putting it into action, now we can work and we can do business. And I just listened. And he, a lot of that in the beginning, he wasn't charging me or nothing like that. And we gradually built together.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's getting paid. We're doing business partnerships with other people, and it's working. Now he has a whole team and other clients underneath his umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
But the way he moves is that he strategically puts people in place that make sense for everybody. There's no point in him having 5 makeup artists.
Mm-hmm.
There's the ex-NFL football player who's a fitness trainer and have product out. He has a TV producer. He has a motivational speaker. He has me as, you know what I mean?
Yeah. A
But
little bit
we
of
all
everything.
can benefit from everybody. So I just like that about him. He don't just take clients for the money. And he always asks the question when it comes to opportunities and money. He presents it to me and says, "This is the opportunity, and it's how much money you might make, but this is a money maker.
Right.
What is more important to you?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the opportunity or the money? And let me make the decision." And of course, guide me if I go left, but he's never going to make that decision for me. So if I make mistakes throughout the process, it's because those are the choices that I made.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just think it's important to understand who you have in your corner, and they have to believe in you
Mm-hmm.
just as much as you do, if not more. And he has proven that he's in it for the long haul, as long as I'm willing to do the work.
So how would you suggest, it's kind of like, I guess this is because I'm thinking of different parts of the same question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's finding the right people. And I'm thinking in terms of that fine line, because you had mentioned that you guys were friends first. And I know a lot of times, some of us, whether you have a product business, a service business, or something in between, many of us may get disappointed when our friends or family don't necessarily jump to support us, or we don't see them supporting us the way that we would perhaps want them to support us. So that fine line between expecting your friends and family to be said customers or your audience, and in terms of stepping away from those expectations of them, let me ask that question first. How do you navigate around not looking to, because my mama listens to every damn episode. Hey, mom. Hey, dad. They listen to everything. You know what I mean? I know my best friends, not all of them, but Dell, she definitely gonna listen. And every once in a while, Courtney gonna listen. But I have other friends that I love dearly and I know love me down that ain't never heard an episode of this shit. I know my cousins ain't never heard this shit. And at first, I took that shit personal. But then I had to realize they're not my market. They're not my audience. I'm like, you can't sell to everybody. Not if I'm selling cars, a nigga that got a car ain't my market. But just because you're my brother, I'm expecting you to buy a car. Like, you have a car, or this isn't for you. You take the train, right? So how do you suggest creatives and entrepreneurs, new business people kind of set those fair expectations, right? Knowing which friends are going to be the ones that are going to support you in your dreams. And then also knowing how to pivot towards people that you can kind of pull on, like who your true audience should be, and not expecting it to be your friends and family. Does that make sense?
You know, you actually kind of answered it, but the way I want to put it to you is this. When you go to a Louis Vuitton store, if you go to a Macy's, if you go to a Nordstrom, whatever store that you love to go to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those people that work there, from the management team all the way to the part-time salesperson, when people come through that door and shop with them, it's not necessarily our friends.
Mm-mm.
It's people that just fall in love with the product. So how are you marketing your product? How are you making people fall in love with you? That's going to be the thing that sustains you. The friends that come and support, that's an added bonus, because the people that really love you, they're going to support. And it's not, it might be a thing where they don't even like the hats. I'm just going to buy the hat because I believe in you. Right. I see what you're doing in your community. I see how you're making a difference. I love you. But that's not going to be a repeat customer. That's just going to be like a one-time, every once in a blue moon, just to show you that I care. Where you have to find your group of people that's not your friends. Most people that shop with me is people that I don't know.
Right.
That stop me on the street. Those are the customers I want, because they're going to be loyal. Those are the ones that and I'm not saying you don't cater to your friends, but those ones is the ones that's going to keep your business for the long haul, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you just have to just tell yourself, because we all go through those stages. I've been posting these hats, and this person keep buying these other people hats, and they ain't bought mine. Okay, in due season, when they feel compelled to buy one or not, they will. And if they don't, we have to be okay with that. That's the bottom line.
So
did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Have you ever had a mentor?
Oh,
or like people?
Absolutely. You have
So
to have.
now, this is my thing with mentors, because I believe in I don't know if power is the right word. Usefulness, I guess. I believe in the mentor-mentee relationship, right? But as someone who would want a mentor, how do you figure out going about approaching someone to be a mentor? Because I've always heard people say, well, what value can you bring to them? And I'm just like, nigga, nothing. I don't think, like, if someone that's a stat, like, I'm thinking, okay, I have my ideal established podcaster in mind, right? And I would love to work with this person because I believe in the way that they handle their business. I love that they don't necessarily, I would rather work with someone that would walk away from $1 million because it's not in alignment with how they want to do business. It's not in alignment with how they want to present themselves. That's somebody that I would want to work with. But as someone, I mean, I could bring great personality and cheer, but what am I offering to someone as the newbie as a podcaster, right? And I've been doing it for almost 5 years. I still figure myself as a newbie because I'm not on their level. How do you suggest someone approach looking for a mentor when the narrative around finding a mentor tends to be, well, what, offering them value in some sense. It's like, well, when you can't see the value you can offer someone, how do you navigate the space of finding someone who can help you? Because at this point, it feels like it would be a selfish relationship, right? I'm looking for someone to help pour into me and help with, okay, no, you're spending too much time on this. Maybe spend your attention doing this. So I can hire all the help. I can spend money on that. But at the same time, it's just like, that's a business transaction. And while you can find great people to work with in that aspect, I feel like there's a certain magic in someone that just sees value in you, the way that your friends saw value in you, the way that woman that brought you into Aveda saw value in you.
Mhm.
Like in this way that I heard the story, that was a mentor to you. So how do you suggest someone, find a mentor or put themselves in the space to receive a mentor without feeling as if, you have to be a personal assistant to somebody or bring more than what you feel is possible to give?
Okay, good question. What I want to say to that is there's different ways mentorships happen, and some that just organically happens. Like in my situation, I didn't even look at it or even knew at that time that these were mentors in my life because I was just going with the flow. I was just eager to learn. I was just eager to just do. I just believed, like I believed that they believed. And some people can't even do that. Like I could tell you, I think you would be an amazing model, but if you don't feel that yourself, you're not going to leave doing your podcast to go be a model. You know what I'm saying? You'd have to really feel strongly that you
Right.
can do it. So that's one way. Another way I think people don't realize this is that mentors come from your investment. So if I'm a makeup artist and you think I am amazing at what I do and you have watched everything I've done on YouTube for free and I'm doing master classes, I'm selling products, I am giving my all because this is what I enjoy and I love and I'm passionate about. If I have two people that want me to mentor them, somebody who spent $500 to come to my class for 8 hours and somebody who just been on my social media page every day in my inbox asking me questions, who do you think I'm going to mentor?
Right.
The person who invested in themselves. Now, I'm not saying I will never invest into somebody who don't have it or don't,
Of course.
and I don't see. I might still see the value in that person, but you take all those things into consideration because at the end of the day, we are supposed to add some kind of value. It might not be the same value.
Yeah.
We need to be able to add some value in anything, relationships, in business, in mentorships, and we should all, when you have the mentality is that no matter how far you are, you can always learn and grow.
Yeah.
You're going to want to find a way to add value to whatever it is that you're trying to do because like you said, nobody don't want somebody who just take in any situation. You know what I mean? So I think I do both. When people mentor me, I also take that and go and mentor other people. So it just depends on the chemistry, the energy, and the situation because they all are different.
Right.
But that can definitely happen if you connect yourself to the right person. And you have to have good intuition on both parts, the mentee and the person who wants to be mentored. So.
Okay. So how do you not pivot, but decide I don't even want to say decide. You had mentioned intuition. So how do you kind of navigate, right? Because intuition comes into play all the time in travel. Something about that bar don't feel right. I don't speak the language, but the energy is really not, this ain't for me, moving on. Or, you know what? This trip seemed like a good idea. For example, we're going to Mexico at the end of the month. We were supposed to go last June, but something was telling us not to go because we had my partner's cousin's wedding. We couldn't miss it. Like, there's no way I would let him miss that wedding. So we decided to cancel it, right? So there are different times in your life where you pick up on where it's easier to know when the right time to pivot is. How did you know it was the right time to start new or add on to what you're already doing. So you have Makeup by Rodney Jon, right? Then you had your made hats, but I know you also have a beauty line coming out. How did you feel? What was your process for tuning into when the right time to do more was, and maybe the right time to do less also?
Okay, that's a very, very, very good question. So once I got with my manager, and I told you we spent all that time understanding who I was and what direction I want to go in, now it's his job and responsibility as my manager to help me execute and get to that level. Because I've been through a few managers, and each manager played their role in their season. And when it's time for that season to be up, your intuition tells you when things are not elevating and you feel stagnant in any
That
way,
plateau.
you
Yeah.
have to start planning your exit. And it's not that they're not family. It's not that sometimes they just don't have what it takes to get you to that next space. So and you have to be able to be man enough and woman enough to say and acknowledge and be able to speak up for yourself and say, this not working. Love you down. We still family. But I'm gonna either do this on my own till I find that right person, and the right person will come. So once I told him what I wanted to do, we were speaking things, writing things, like it was a process. It just didn't happen. And things just start like, we would just checking stuff off the box, like, yo, this is happening. And when a person really believes in you, like I said, the way you believe in yourself, it's easy for you. And then also when you are doing the work, when you're getting constructive criticism or feedback
Yeah.
as to what it is that you need to do to be in a certain light, to be looked at in a certain way, once that happens, then they're able to go sell you.
Mm-hmm.
And even though he knew I wanted to go into the beauty industry for his product is concerned, he still knew my core values.
Mm.
It's not just about slapping my name on some makeup or skincare and just to say I have it. I have integrity when it comes to how I want things to look and how I need things to be. Even when it comes to the innovation and the ingredient benefits, the industry is saturated with stuff. So my target is ethnic skin. And the person that we partner with, Dr. Wendy Roberts, she specializes in ethnic skin. She's a double board certified dermatologist. She has her own place where she does all her chemistry and create the products and all that kind of stuff. And because we have built myself up to this image, you have to show yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
Then when the person present you to the next opportunity, he kept calling her phone because she's busy. She got awards. She travels. She's Beverly Johnson's best friend. She lives in Palm Springs, California. She wasn't answering the phone, but it was his persistence that finally got her on the phone. Then when he got on the phone, he's telling me like it's him, and she's like, "I need to meet this Rodney Jon." And then she looked at my page. She's like, "Wait, he's popping." And then when she had a meeting with me like this, it was just like a color match made in heaven because we shared the same values, and he knew that.
Yeah.
That would be the perfect partnership for me. And it's all working out very smoothly. So I didn't know when it was going to happen. We just planted the seed and watched it blossom into a beautiful flower. And I just can't wait to show the world, because it's going to be the number one product out there on the market. I'm telling you now, marketing order this day is going to happen.
I believe it. And that made me
So
remember I still got them lipsticks. I feel like them
the
lipsticks are
lipstick,
still in my lipstick drawer. The
my
packaging
Rodney
was
Jon
beautiful.
collection.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
the only
did.
reason why I pivoted from that, because it went real well when I was doing it. The person who I was doing it with, it was LTW Custom Cosmetics, and we did a partnership. And I like the lipstick, I like the shape, but my problem was, as a brand trying to establish myself in the industry, we all shared the same. Anybody who partner with her, we had to share the same leopard packaging. I couldn't use anything
Yeah.
different. And I'm like, this is not going to work long term. This
Okay.
is,
Yeah.
and so you see how the difference is. Back then, it was all about me just having a product. And
Mhm.
now it's like, I need a product with purpose. I need a
Yeah.
product with integrity. And not saying her product wasn't, a good product. It was just certain things that I just visually see now that I didn't see before because I've grown.
Yes.
I've developed. I've seen so many different things. I work with so many different products. You know what I mean? I went to the store and didn't see stuff for us. So I wanted to create a product for us, by us, that understands our pigments, that understands our skin tones, that understand everything that come along with the melanin in our skin.
Yeah.
So she was the perfect person. And when I tell you, I'm super excited and happy about this opportunity.
So what kind of beauty products are you guys going to have? Is it going to be a face wash? Is it going to be what do
I
you call it,
can't
like?
tell you. I can't tell you.
Come on, surprise.
Follow me on Rodney Jon Beauty, and you
Do you
will
have a
find all the
launch?
details.
Do we have
We
like
don't
a
have a date, but
ETA?
it's spring. It's spring.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
spring.
So spring. Oh, spring, like first day of spring is March 20th. So
It's coming in.
that's soon, girlies. Is it gender neutral? Is it more
Gender neutral.
okay, right?
Everybody
Because
can use
niggas
it.
wash their face
Everybody
too.
can use it. Everybody can use it.
And non-niggas, not men, women, in between. Everybody, you should be washing your face. However you identify is the point. You should be taking care of your skin, even if it's not face wash. You should be taking care of your skin, period. We all got it. However you identify, you got skin. So after you decided to, not even after, when you decide on connecting with people, right, in terms of partnerships for business, how do you feel your personality is related to that, right? Because I know that, for example, my personal decision-making skills, like who I am as a person, absolutely plays into how I book my travel. It plays into the different types of things that I find in alignment with myself. And I'm having not a difficult time, but it's kind of given me pause in business because I understand myself to kind of be a very laid back, kind of just like person. But I know that I've seen that those same behaviors don't always play well when it comes to business. So in choosing your business partners and in making these professional decisions, how do you have to navigate or how do you choose to navigate who you are? How do you, if you do find you have to, your personality, do you ever have to do you find yourself having to, I don't want to say be different, but in terms of trying to find the best way to express it? It makes perfect sense in my head, but y'all not in my head. I know that the same things that I do for my personal life, I can't always do for my professional life. When it comes to making business decisions, I know all right, well, I'll figure it out when I get there isn't always going to work. So have you had to navigate any types of, I don't want to say personality changes, but do you have to like wear different hats in the different ways that you handle yourself? There's one way you might do things personally, and there's another way that you might do things professionally. But do you feel that you have to make any changes to kind of balance the two?
You know what? I'll make any changes. No, for the most part, I'm myself. But when you're making business decisions, there is a certain level of confidence, certain level of what's the word I'm looking for? Seriousness. Because I'm a very joyful, playful person. I'm not going to be sitting in a room making a business decision, trying to make people laugh. You know what I mean? Like, so when it comes to something like that, you have to be in a place to be able to sell yourself. So, but even with that, sometimes you have to use your personality to sell yourself. So
here's a better way. Here's another way.
Yes.
So like, for example, there's intuition, and then there's knowing that what you feel or what you hear is intuition, or if it's your fear speaking, right? Sometimes something is like, oh, I don't know, this doesn't necessarily seem like a good decision for now. I know you said that you go on faith, you move on faith. And that was a big part in how you entered into your decisions with makeup. But now that you are here where you are, where's that line between using your brain and then using your intuition? Because I know that if I'm looking something up, there's 47,000 different links with information on any one given topic. So you can do as much research, but then at a certain point, you got to pull the trigger. You have to make a decision. So I know that the way that I make decisions in my personal life don't always play well with the way that I would, or the way I perceive business should be handled, because I tend to really just be a kind of person that's not going to play it with work. When money is on the line and when like dates and timelines and other people's time is there, that wishy-washy doesn't play. So for me and my decisions, I know that I can't necessarily go into a lot of things with Dana head. I got to go into it with D Carey head. Like I have to sometimes separate it and be like, all right, so like you said, sometimes you got to woman up and be like, or man up and be like, nah, this isn't going to work. You have to really voice your opinions and speak up for yourself. Those different versions of myself don't always appear on both ends. Like my personal life, I'm way more laid back. But when it comes to business, I know I can't usually, I don't think that I can take that same approach. How did you learn to navigate where that good space was in being yourself? Because I'm going to be me. Like you're going to get me being as myself. That's not what I mean. I don't mean like I'm a different person, but I know my decision making and the way that I choose to focus can't always be the same. Have you had any experience in having to navigate when to turn off the play and when to turn on like okay, no, this is a serious decision and I have to kind of make it make sense now?
You know what I think? I feel like I use the same formula, whether it's personal or business. I think that sometimes when it doesn't always work out in your favor, it makes you evaluate certain things so that you can make better decisions. So, because there's times where I felt like I made the right decision with something and it went left, and I'm like, oh God, I didn't know it was going to turn out like that, but I really felt in my spirit that that's what I should do. I'm not even saying that I wasn't supposed to do it, because sometimes, I'm gonna give you a prime example. When I got booked that job from New York to LA, it was a 3-month job. I was supposed to make $20,000 in 3 months. I was working with Tanisha Thomas from Beggars Club, and I was working with 3 other Black women. The 3 Black women didn't know who I was, and it was 2 makeup artists and 2 hairstylists. The other makeup artist was working with Ariana Grande at the time, and he was a Latino artist, and he had a lot more followers than me. I was still building, and I wasn't known in LA. It was my first job. So basically, my intuition told me to leave my apartment and to go do this job, because I know I would make $20,000. I'll be set up for success, and then I would continue my career in LA, because that was my dream, to be in LA working on all of that stuff, right? So my intuition told me, yes, that's the job. Even when it comes to, I had a friend who was living in, I was able to stay with them for the first couple of months. And to make a long story short, after like the 4th week, mind you, I was the first person coming into work every day on the bus because I didn't have a car. I was
LA at that.
excited, ready to go, make this money, make these connections, and build a relationship with even the people that was on set. Those 3 girls did not want me to touch them. So for the first 4 or 5 weeks of me working on the show, I was only working with Tanisha, and this guy was doing all 3 of them. And you already know, working in production and stuff like that in the past, that time is money. And it's like, we're getting paid the same rate. Now they looking at us, like all of the women on the panel, they all look beautiful. They all look equally the same. But now, because they're complaining, they have to find a solution. And the solution was to let me go. So in that moment, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm already in LA. The job is gone. I'm not gonna make $20,000. Now I'm questioning my artistry. I'm questioning my move. I'm questioning everything.
I just shit myself.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, was this the right decision? Was it not? I know what I felt. But my whole point is that opportunity and that happening to me allowed me to understand how to move in LA with people. You make a lot of business connections, but you don't make a lot of friends, right? That was the first thing. And then the second thing was I still needed that job opportunity to get me in LA to have allowed me the last 9 years in LA to do the things that I really wanted to do. So you see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't always work out in your favor, but I'm still using the same formula. And you have to be able to pivot and figure it out once it doesn't go the way that it was supposed to go, because I didn't know I was going to get fired.
Yeah.
But once I realized that, I'm like, okay, what's next, God? Because I ain't going back. My roommate ain't even gonna let me back. He mad because I ain't paid the
Right.
rent.
Yeah.
And I ain't going back to Philly to my mom's house. What we doing? Got to keep going. So I just kept looking forward. So I don't know. I just try to use the same formula and just hope for the best. And that most of the time I'm spot on, and then sometimes it could be something off. But I just pivot and keep it pushing. Because that's what life is about: going through different experiences and being able to overcome them.
And I'm thankful that you said that, because what came out, what I was hearing when you were saying that was stop being afraid to be wrong. And I think
Yeah.
that's the difference and that's where, and it's like, again, sometimes you don't know, you need to hear something. And I definitely needed that. So thank you for that, because I think where I was asking is because I have a difficult time, I guess, believing that, I guess, you're enough, right? Or that you have to do something different, because I do not personally believe in all of like I don't want to say I don't believe in the traditional business. They don't feel right. The traditional business models just don't really sit well with me.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while, you just need more, what's not recommend, starts with an R. Affirmations.
Reassurance.
Yes, thank you. You need reassurance that it doesn't have to look like everybody else. It can absolutely work, even if it takes longer than what you intended, even if there are more setbacks, even if you fuck up, even if you make the wrong decision. Like, you could have looked at going to LA as the wrong decision after they let you go. It could have been it right there. You could have just went back East Coast and figured it out from there, but you didn't. You didn't let that decision be the wrong decision. It was just a decision in that moment, and you keep going.
But you know what the crazy part about it is? That decision of them letting me go had nothing to do with my performance or me not being on time or me not being a good artist, even though they made me feel like that was the case. So when you know who you are as a person and as an artist, or whatever it is that you're doing, and you really believe in yourself 150%, you can't let another's inability to see your worth determine your destiny. And that's one of the quotes that I always use, especially when I'm about to end the live. But I felt like it was most appropriate to say it now. So even with you, I don't know what make you feel like sometimes you're not enough or you're different or you need to be this way or that way. All you need to do is be you. And if people can't love and accept you for you, they're not supposed to be in your life. They're not supposed to be a part of your journey. Do not let another's inability to see your worth determine your destiny. Period. You have the power to change the narrative of your career, to change the narrative of your story. You have the power to get to the next level of your career. You have the power to leave the legacy you want to live for other people. You have the power to inspire and motivate people on your platform. And you have the power to get to the next level, to financial freedom. You have that power. Nobody else has that power but you.
And I think that is the perfect way to close this out. Thank you, Rodney.
Thank you for having me.
So very much. Where can the people find you? Where can the people keep up to date with all of your offerings? Do you do makeup classes by any chance? You're a professional makeup artist.
I do. And let's see, I have a Made by Rodney Jon page, MadeByRodneyJon. I also have, that's the one that I have like most of my followers on. I do a lot of, on Wednesdays, I do my lives on Wednesday, and I just kind of like keep people updated on what I have going on. I might do a recap of something I did on the weekend. If you look on my stories, you're going to probably always see different things that I'm posting showing you like how my day is going and different things that I'm doing throughout my day. You might see some makeup, you might see some product knowledge. All that's on Made by Rodney Jon. If you go to the Rodney Jon Beauty page, that is my new curated page where I'm building my audience for my new product that's going to be dropping, and classes and editorials, and different things I'll be doing like that. So I will be doing master classes. I'll be doing subscriptions on that page where you can subscribe to get other stuff that other people are not going to be able to have access to. So those both pages have its own purpose, but they both are powerful in its own way. I have more followers on Made by Rodney Jon, but I need all those followers on Made by Rodney Jon to be on the Rodney Jon Beauty page too.
And I'm
and I and I have Rodney Jon Beauty on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook too.
okay. I mean, I have, when I tell you Twitter has been the new it girl for me, even though the guy's been fucking it up. I love Twitter. So I just feel like it just, I'm there. I'm with it.
I go in the play. I just like post something, or I'll just retweet something that I might say. I don't even know what Twitter's about. I'm so
That's all I do.
confused at Twitter.
And that's why I like it, because IG for me is just like it. Some of it's nice. Like it's yes, you can just consume, but I feel like it is so much easier to consume content for me on Twitter. It's just scroll, keep it moving, scroll. I find myself too invested in the rabbit holes and the links and the people. I have enjoyed Twitter, so I'm definitely going to get you on the Twitters. But I will absolutely have all those links in the description box. I will have you have a website?
I do. Well, I have the Rodney Jon Beauty website right now.
Okay.
How I do my hats right now is through Zelle or Cash App, because when I had my website when I was in LA, and a lot of my merchandise was still in LA, and when I had to move in like 2 weeks to come to do Sherri, and I didn't want people to be ordering stuff on the website and I'm not being able to fulfill it, because I'm when it comes to customer service and getting my product out in 2 to 3 days. So now I have some merchandise here. I'd rather just do it that way until I'm able to get everything up and running the way I want it to be.
Copy. All right. So I will have both of the links for the IGs and the Rodney Jon Beauty page in the description box so that you guys can get to that easily. Please do get there, and especially to the Rodney Jon Beauty page so that y'all could be in the know for when the beauty care line drops, babies. Rodney, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I don't think that you I am very filled. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Listen, this is what I love to do. So I'm just so grateful that you reached out to me and asked me to do it, to be honest, because I do this all the time. I love it. Thank you.
I appreciate you. All right, y'all. Talk with y'all later. Bye.
Peace. We out of here. I'm hungry. Bye.
Bye, baby.